Today we're going to be going over coding problem 4.5.6. This is an external resource problem because it is a pretty challenging one. Um, in this problem, we're working with dictionaries. We're asked to write a function called stars that's going to take in two dictionaries that we see down here. In the movies dictionary, we have the titles of movies as the keys in the dictionary, and the values are lists of the actors and actresses who were part of the movie. Same thing for TV shows. Keys are the name of the show, and the values are lists of the participants in the show. So our function takes in these two dictionaries as input, and it asks you to return a new dictionary. The keys of the new dictionary, should be the performers' names, and the values for each key should be the list of shows and movies in which that performer has appeared. So we're kind of making a dictionary that's a little bit the reverse of what they give you, right? So the names and the values of the dictionary we're given will become the keys of the dictionary we're returning. So we're going to walk through this problem. It is a challenging one. I'm going to do my best to talk about the logic of solving the problem, common errors, and then we're going to run our code, test it, and talk about the results based on the test cases. So let's get started. We have our function stars, and it takes in a dictionary called movies and a dictionary called TV shows. Now, before even thinking about how to do this problem, we know that we need to create a dictionary in the beginning of our function because we are going to be returning a new dictionary, right? So I'm going to call this dictionary final dict, and we're going to create it as an empty dictionary just like this. Now, how do we think about this problem? We're going to be iterating through each of the two dictionaries we're given individually. This way we can go over the information in the movies dictionary and deal with the names of the performers and the names of the movies. And if we iterate over the TV shows dictionary after that, because there are commonalities, there are performers that are in movies and TV shows, by going over them one at a time, we can keep adding to our final dictionary by going first the performers in the movies dictionary and then through the TV shows. So let's iterate through our movies dictionary. Now, we know that we're going to be accessing both the keys and the values of this dictionary because we need to know the keys, the movie names, and we need to know the values, right? So we want to access both at one time. We do this by using specific Python syntax, which is the .items method, which allows us to access two variables in one loop. So we have for key and values in movies.items. Now, we want to access the individual names in the list that makes up the values of the dictionary, right? So we want to be able to look at these names and the values one at a time and compare them to values in our final dictionary, which I'll go over in a second. So we need to have another loop inside of our main for loop that is iterating over the lists to look at each of the performers' names individually. We can do that like this. For name is what I'm going to call my variable in values. And again, that's just iterating over the list of values. So for each name, we know that the name is going to be a key in our final dictionary, right? The performers in the list become the keys of the final dictionary. So what we want to do is check to see if that performer's name is already in the final dictionary. The basic logic is this. If their name's not in the dictionary, then we're going to create an entry, a pair in that dictionary. And if the name is present in the dictionary, then we're not going to create another entry in the dictionary, but we're going to add on to the value of that existing key, right? Hopefully this will make more sense in a second. So we have for name and values. Now we're going to use conditionals to deal with the logic that I was just talking about. So let's consider the case where the name is not already present in the final dictionary, which will be the case from the beginning because the final dictionary is empty. So we have if not name in final dict. Final dict, we could do dot keys to specify that we're going over the keys, iterating over the keys of the final dictionary, but we don't have to. This is default. If you say in the dictionary, it's going to iterate over the keys by default unless you specify values or items. So if the name is not in final dict, what do? We need to create an entry for that performer, right? And the performer is this variable name. So we can do final dict. We access the key by using brackets, right? So final dict of name. What do we do here? Well, we know that the values of our final dictionary are going to be lists as well, right? In this output right here, each of the values is a list of the movies and TV shows the performer has been part of. So we need to create that list first. We need to create an empty list. And then, once we've created that list, we can simply append to the value of the dictionary. Now, what do we append? We're going to append the key, because remember, when we iterate through the keys are the names of the movies. So we want to append the name of the movie as the value for each performer that we're looping through right now. Right? Now we're going to have an else statement. So in this case, if else activates, it means that the name is already in the final dictionary. So if the name is already in the final dictionary, it means that at one point this if statement has executed, right, in the condition before the performer was a key in the dictionary. So we know that there's already a list created right here, and we know that there's already something in the list. So under our else statement, we can simply append the key, just like this. And once this outer for loop has run to completion, once it's iterated over the entire dictionary, we're left with our final dictionary, where we have the keys are the names of the performers in the movies dictionary, and the values are the movies they were part of. So that's our for loop, and we're finished with that. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the TV shows dictionary. So the reason we can do this is because we're returning one dictionary, right? And there can be commonalities in keys in the names of the performers between the movies and TV show dictionary. Because there are commonalities, we can loop over the TV show's dictionary, and by using the exact same code, it will look for similar names. So let's see, in TV shows, right here, this name is also present in the values of our movies dictionary, right? So when we loop through using this second outer for loop, when it comes across this name, we want it to perform just like it did for our first for loop going over the movies dictionary, because it's all going to the same source, the same final dictionary we're returning, right? So for name and values, if the name's not already in the final dictionary, we create a list that we are going to append to, and then we're going to append the key to the list. This is the exact same code that we just used. So when these two for loops, these two main outer for loops, have run to completion, we are left with a complete dictionary full of all the information we need, in which the keys are the performers, and we have full, complete lists of the movies and TV shows that they participated in. So we can return final dict, right? Not quite. We have one last thing to do, and it's this instruction right here. Sort the shows and movies alphabetically. So in our final dict, these shows and movies are grouped together in the lists that are the values of final dict, right? Because they are lists, we can sort them using the sort method for lists, right? So here's how this would work. We want to loop through the values in the final dictionary, and we specify that we're looping through the values by using the values method for dictionaries. So in our final dictionary, which is what we're returning, for each of the values, so for each of the lists, we simply sort them like this. Remember, this is a syntax for sorting lists because they are mutable data structures. And once we've sorted them, we can return them. So this is the code. This is the solution I used. And so we are going to run our code. Right here, down here, we have the test case from the 2 movies and TV shows dictionaries. And we have a rough outline of, well, this is the information that should be contained in our final dictionary, but note that the order may vary because dictionaries are unordered data structures. So right here we see our output, in which the keys are the names, and the values are the lists of what they participated in.